Welcome to the Diabetes Revolution podcast with Dr. Sarah Townley, the type 2 diabetes coach, clinical pharmacist, and mom of 7 angels. You don't have to struggle and fight with your blood sugars for the rest of your life. I'm here to teach you the skills you need to control and even reverse this disease. There is such a thing as getting off your meds and creating a future free from diabetes. And you can have it too. Let's get down to business. Hello, you guys. I am coming in here compulsively to record this because it feels like it needs to come out. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something that needs to come out. And I have to tell you the story behind this because it's so good. I was hanging out at my bestie's house on a lake yesterday. She has, 7 kids, and I have 7 kids, and my mom was with, and it was really interesting. But I got this text from one of my followers who wanted to share with me something that had happened that really disturbed him and was causing him some grief. So let me tell you this story about Carl, because Carl and me have been chatting back and forth for several months now, and he has been implementing much of what I teach on this podcast to create incredible results. And yesterday was a rough day. You know, that day that he texted me. He told me that he has a good friend who had lost a bunch of, it sounds like he'd lost a bunch of weight using intermittent fasting, and then he ended up gaining it all back, plus some. And he was warning Carl that this wasn't a healthy way or a safe way to go about losing the weight. And he was telling him that he was worried about him, that he was going to die. Well, Carl wasn't pumped to hear that. He said, it's just so frustrating when people tell me I am not doing the right thing, even though my numbers are the best they've ever been. And he said he'd had some treats or whatever that day, and it had made him feel like crap. Like he said, he just felt like his whole body was hurting, and his brain wasn't even working right. He said it was all over the place, and he couldn't read, which is something he loves to do, more than a page before he had to put the book down, just simply because he couldn't concentrate. And he said, I just really, physically and mentally, I just love the way that fasting makes me feel. When his friend told him that he was concerned that Carl was going to die, Carl got pissed because it's the best I have felt in years, he said. He said he was so upset that he had to mentally focus not to emotionally overeat, and caught himself starting to, but then closed his eating window and said, that's it, no more. I'm actually reading his text to you guys, okay? So I thought I would do a whole episode on this situation because it's actually super common. It's so common that I went back and found a blog post that I had written 3 years ago that's still on my website that was exactly this problem. It is super common for people to struggle with other people's opinions, other people's comments, other people's judgments about the way you are choosing to take care of your body. And it can feel so bad that it can really mess with your mind and make it difficult for you to stay on track and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Before I jump in, I also wanted to share an email that I got from someone named Steve who was just so inspirational. I love getting these little love letters from my listeners because it just reminds me of how powerful this podcast is. And I want to share it with you because I want you to see what's possible by just simply listening to this podcast and applying what I teach in here. So Steve says, I'm a 63-year-old man, 5'7", and used to be 225 pounds. He has been type 2 diabetic for 18 years, okay? So his blood sugars were basically okay with what his doctor had him on, which was 2 different oral medications. And he says, as you've taught me through your wonderful podcast, I now know that all I was truly doing was managing numbers artificially. I was treating symptoms, not the cause. That said, I had a much higher number one day in early May that shocked me. After lunch, it spiked to 300, and for me, this was pretty high. I had enough. Long story short, I found your podcast and started on the first episode, binging through them as I listened every day while commuting to work and back, which is a 50-minute drive each way. By the way, Carl also calls his car the 4-door diabetes class because he listens to my podcast in the car too. Steve says, "You have changed my life and saved it as well. Since May 8th of 2023, which we're now looking at August 13th, I have now eliminated the glipizide as I stopped taking that on my own in late May. As my blood sugars were dropping down into the 50s and 60s, even hitting 48 one evening. I'm still taking the metformin at this point, but I've lost 40 pounds and my blood sugars have been fantastic. Recent blood work put my A1C at 5.7. I'm on a good road now. Thank you for your teachings and all the wonderful information you share." So this is just some guy who saw a number on his blood sugar monitor that motivated him to say, I got to figure this out. And then that led him to finding my podcast. And just through listening to my podcast and applying what I teach, he was able to affect almost complete reversal of his diabetes in just 3 months. Yeah, just 3 months. That's amazing. So I share that story about Steve with you because I want you to see that it's possible for you too. Right? Like when other people can do it, I can do it too. This guy's had diabetes for 18 years. It's just such an amazing thing how quickly your body will heal. And it's not just Steve's body, guys. It's everyone's. So take that and run with it. All right, so I'm going to dive into the topic that I want to share with you today that feels really important. So if your family or your friends don't want to eat what you want to eat, you're not alone. That's definitely part of the challenge for many of us with diabetes or those of us who are trying to lose weight. But for some of us, there is a different obstacle on top of that. Some of our family members or our friends say things or have judgments about our food that make it even harder. Things like, you shouldn't be eating that. Or, ew, that looks disgusting. Or, I don't care if you have diabetes. I'm not going to eat that. Even our doctors or our dietitians feel the need to openly judge our dietary choices, warning us that we're going to have some terrible thing happen, like a stroke or a heart attack that's going to kill us because our cholesterol is high or whatever. I mean, WTF? Like, I've lost 40 pounds. I've eliminated high blood pressure and GERD and thyroid disease, as well as my diabetes, and I've gotten off 5 medications. By the way, which is something that they couldn't help me accomplish, right? And they still actually think I'm going to harm myself? Like, do you see the insanity of that perspective? These people's comments about our food and our health can have us feeling anything from shame to anger. And if you're anything like me, you might even start feeling sorry for yourself or overwhelmed with everything. And you might end up thinking things like, I can't do this. It's too hard. I'm the only one that has this problem. My family doesn't support me. And then there's always, the helpful coworker with the tips on how well they can manage their blood sugars with insulin while still enjoying ice cream every night. I'm telling you real examples of things that my clients have shared with me. It's unwanted advice. It's too much advice, the wrong advice, or outright deriding comments. No wonder we'd rather not deal with our diabetes in these situations, right? And food is such a major part of our culture that needing to stick to a certain diet can make you feel different and sometimes downright lonely. A very common thing that I hear people say when we're talking about food is, I just want to feel normal again. I want to address this today because I want to give you 2 gifts. The first one is helping you to see that your desire to feel normal is simply rooted in your human brain's wiring. The second is helping you to see that what you really want is to not be normal, okay? And then we're going to address what to do when these people are saying things to you and the emotions that come and the reactions that we have. Okay, so nobody wants to be the weird one, right? Especially in middle school. I have 2 middle schoolers this year, and I'm going to have a high schooler too, which is the first time. So that's going to be an adventure. Okay, it might be helpful to know why it's so important to you to feel normal. When you understand your human brain, it gives you comfort to know that we all have basic human desire for the same thing. We want to belong. We want to be accepted. We are evolved to prioritize this because it was actually essential for our survival. We are social creatures who evolved in tribes, and we thrived in communities of people who kept us safe and shared resources. So those of us who collaborated effectively reproduced and prospered. Much of our habits are learned from our families and our friends. The culture we are raised in shapes our expectations and our norms, like how many children we have, or what kind of career we choose, even like what kind of car we drive. And being normal means we fit in. It's attractive. Going against the norm can be disastrous. We can be rejected, isolated, and feel vulnerable. It's no good, and we're actually wired to avoid this. It feels like a threat to our survival. The biggest influences on what we think is normal or ideal comes from three main groups. The first is our closest company, so the people who surround us most of the time, like our friends and our family. The second is the majority, mainstream popular opinion. And then the third is our idols, the people who we want to be like because we admire them or we respect them. We as humans need to feel connected to people that we care about. Feeling accepted by them is a critical piece of our human experience. And I've heard the Dalai Lama say we need connection like we need air. Like it's a basic human need. James Clear wrote the book Atomic Habits, and he says, most days we'd rather be wrong with the crowd than right by ourselves. This is why it's comforting to have others join you when you're indulging. It's like an unsaid endorsement, right? Like everybody's doing it. So now that you know why your desire to feel normal is simply how your brain is programmed, you might have a little compassion for yourself when you feel different or weird. It's just your brain telling you that you're in danger. Okay, so next let's take a look at what's actually normal. What if you are completely normal, and is normal even the goal? So here are some population norms in our modern American culture. More than half of the adults in the United States have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes at this time. Up to 85% of adults have insulin resistance, the problem that defines type 2 diabetes. Expected to rise since last measured in 2016, 71.6% of adult Americans are overweight or obese. Now let's look at what normal dietary habits are in the United States. The average adult consumes about 57 pounds of sugar every year. Most Americans now eat 5 meals per day rather than the traditional 3. Portion sizes are double and even triple what was typical in 1970. And almost 60% of an American's daily calories come from ultra-processed food. So now I want to ask you, are you normal? Do you want to be, quote, normal? If normal is unhealthy, is normal a good thing? Maybe the truth is you want to be healthy. Thinking I just want to be healthy feels completely different and drives different decisions than I just want to be normal. Words matter, you guys. Choosing intentionally the words that are playing through your mind makes all the difference. When your family isn't supportive of the decisions you are making to take care of yourself, you have 2 choices. You can either think thoughts that feel terrible and drive unwanted actions, or you can think thoughts that feel good or neutral and drive desired actions. Most of us are not making the choice intentionally, but rather are thinking in reaction or on default. When our partner says to us, "This dinner is terrible," we think it means we have to cook and eat food that's bad for us, and then we feel resentful. When our coworker says, "Aren't you a diabetic? You shouldn't be eating that," we think that is what makes us feel ashamed or annoyed. But the truth is, there is a step we are forgetting in between. Our partners or our coworkers' words or our doctor's words don't make us do or feel anything. They don't mean anything until we have a thought about them. We hear the words, we have thoughts, then we feel bad, and then we act from this place. I'm trying to show you that your power is in your thoughts. You can choose to think anything you want about the quote rude or quote annoying comments. What you want to do is choose thoughts that feel better and move you toward the action you want to take. So let's take an outrageous example for fun, okay? Let's pretend that your sister or your mother or somebody really important to you brings dinner over to your house that is simply awful for your diabetes, and it's your birthday. Everything you don't normally allow in your diet, there's pizza and cheesy bread, there's cookie dough, and there's cake with ice cream, there's Coke, there's all the things. You know you don't want to indulge because it's not only going to wreck your blood sugar numbers, but you're going to feel horrible after you eat it. So you politely decline and you say something like, "I really appreciate you doing this for me on my birthday. It's so thoughtful and makes me feel loved, but I'm not going to eat because I know I'm going to get sick if I do." So your mom or your sister or whoever it is, they flip out. They get really upset. They say mean things like, "You never told me this. I'm so disappointed. I feel bad that I did all this and you don't even appreciate it." So this is the moment that you get to choose thoughts about their words that serve you and your goals. The thoughts you choose have to be true for you. You know they will work by how you feel when you think them. So here are some suggestions that you can try on to see if they would work for you. Okay, so one is, eating this food is not going to help me or them. Another one is, they don't understand, and that's okay. Another one is, their thoughts and feelings are about them, not about me. It really doesn't matter what thought you find. You know that it works for you if it makes you feel accepting or neutral. You know it's going to work for you if you end up taking the action that's in alignment with your goal or what is important to you. If it keeps you in integrity with the commitment you have made to yourself, it's a good one. The truth is that if this person who is not liking your food or your decisions truly cares about you, it's your company and well-being that they value the most, not what you're eating. They wouldn't want you to make yourself sick with the food. And if they do, why are you caring what they think anyway? This might be the right time to examine the answer to this question. I want you to open your mind to the possibility that you can make decisions to take care of yourself no matter what your family, friends, or your doctor thinks, says, or does. You can cook a wonderful, healthy meal for your family, and they can throw their plates in the trash and order pizza to eat in front of you. And you can experience this without self-pity, offense, or resentment. Because it's the thoughts you have about the situation that cause suffering, not something outside of you. Accepting that is where you claim your power. And when your doctor scares you with the, quote, deep concern for your life because you're eating in a way that heals your body, you can trust yourself above anyone else. Your doctor says, take these drugs. It's the only way. And you think, I have got to figure this out. Just like the lady I talked to yesterday on the phone thought, which then led her to talking to her friend, accepting this recommendation to check out some podcast, finding me, and then getting on the phone with me. This is a powerful thought. And she chose to think that when her doctor said, take these drugs. This is the only thing you can do. That's amazing. So when Carl's friend says, this is a disastrous thing that you're doing with your diet, it's going to kill you, he can think, this is my friend who thinks he knows what's better for me than I do, and he loves me, but he doesn't know. I know what's best for me. Does this sound easier said than done? For most people, it is. That's because it's hard to get outside of your own mind to see the thoughts that you're choosing. I coach people who want to reach their goals no matter what happens. Instead of getting sicker over time, my clients are doing the hard work to control their diabetes, reverse it, and get off all their meds forever. If that sounds like something that you want and it's not being offered to you anywhere else, this is me telling you, what are you waiting for? Get on my website, apply to work with me, and guess what? I'm only looking for people who are ready to get to work, people who know this is for them and that they want to get on the phone with me just to make sure it feels right. If that's you, you could be on my schedule next week. Okay, I'll see you on the next podcast, which is something I'm actually really excited for because it's all about maintenance mode, which is where I am now in my journey. So stay tuned for that one because it's going to be good. Okay, don't leave yet. You're going to want to hear about this. If you love my podcast, if I'm the only sane voice you've found on this subject, if I've already helped you, you need to check out my online course. It's a start to finish, step-by-step video course that teaches you all the tools you need to know to beat this disease. You can find it on my website, sarahtownley.com, along with lots of other free tools that will make taking care of your diabetes so much easier. So get over there right now. See you there.